Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Morvi, and I'm back once again with another guide. Today I come bearing a gift, a Game Pass guide, and that guide is for Ravenlok. We haven't had many shorter titles on the Game Pass recently, so it was a very nice surprise when this one popped up. This title will take around 3 hours to complete. It's going to be a little bit longer than some of the other guides I've been posting recently. We're not going to be getting away with a 5-minute completion today, sorry. But this game is a blast to play through, and then 3 hours goes in a blink of an eye. Don't you worry, I'll hold your hand and walk you through the whole game. I'll make sure you pick up all of the collectibles along the way so you don't have to backtrack at the end. If this video helps you out, then please hit that like button, and if you want to see more of my videos, please hit that red button. We have a lot to get through, so enough of my waffle. Let's jump straight into Ravenlok. Okay, we're going to go to New Game and create a new save file. We're then going to be met with this screen, and we have to name our character. I know it's very un-YouTuber of me and I didn't make a joke here, but I ended up naming her Morvi. And just like that, the achievements will start popping. We're going to get our first achievement, once upon a time, bagging ourselves our first 5 Gamerscore. We have a little furry friend with us. Walk up to this little cutie and press the A button. We will start to pet them, getting our next achievement, Waff, getting another 5 Gamerscore. Top points to developers that allow us to pet the animals in their games. Well done, guys. Go up to the box that we were sitting next to when we spawned and press A. We can now pick an accessory for our furry friend. Pick the one that you think looks the coolest and then we can move on. I, of course, went with the cowboy hat. Yee-haw. Once we've picked out our outfit, we can move on. Before we go on to the next screen, we're going to get another achievement. If you hold up on the D-pad, you'll start doing a little boogie. This one locked our next achievement, Vibing, getting another 5 Gamerscore. We're going to use this dance move a lot later on. This is a move that will help us collect these secret items along the way. But for now, we can move on into the game. So move on to the right of the screen. On the next screen, we'll find ourselves on a farm. We need to find our dad, who is walking around the front garden, and we'll get our first quest. We can have a nice little chat with him, but we can also skip all of the dialogue. There is quite a bit of dialogue in this game, so if it gets a little bit too much, we can skip past it. Our first quest has us both helping our mum and dad move into our new farmyard home. Make your way into the main house behind us and we can find Mum. Mum's on the left-hand side of the house, and once we've had a little chat, she'll let us know that she needs some flowers, so it's back out into the front garden. So once she's done talking, we're going to make our way out the door we came in and into the garden. The first one is to the right of the house. Easy peasy. Just go up to it and press A and we will pick it up. It's right next to the broken swing. The second one is to the far right, just outside the red barn. The third one is where we entered the area in the bottom left of the screen, just by the little beige shed. And the final one is just above the same shed. Easy as that. Once we've collected all these weeds, flowers, we can get back into the house. Once we're inside, make your way over to the dining table on the right hand side and put the flowers into the vase. Once that has been complete, we can make our way back to Mum and she'll let us know that she has another quest for us. Oh, God, needy much? But no, of course we can help Mumsy out. Our next quest is to search for a clock key, but don't you worry, it's just in the next room. Make your way over to the kitchen to the right hand side, and just on the left workstation, you'll find your clock key. Pick it up with the A button, and then make your way to the front door. If you look forward, you'll see a set of clocks on the wall. Go up to them and press A. You can use the clock key on them to turn them. Once you've done that, we can go back to Mum, and we've completed our second quest. And now we just have to go outside and help our dad. Next up, we've got to help Dad. Now, do not pay attention to the quest as it tells you to help him with his toolbox. You can't actually pick up the toolbox until we speak to him again. So go up to him and have a little chat. Skip that dialogue and we'll get on to our next quest. Grab the toolbox from the back of the van, and then we're going to make our way to the left of the screen, to the shed where we found the 2 sets of flowers. Place down the toolbox and then make your way back to Dad, and that's our 3rd quest completed. After this, we'll be given a key and a new quest to open the barn. So, let's get to it. Make your way over to the right of the garden, use the key on the door, and we'll make our way inside. Once inside, we'll get our next achievement, Into the Barn, for another 5 Gamerscore. Once you've done admiring your new 5 Gamerscore, make your way to the back right hand side of the room, and we'll see a big old dusty mirror. Go up to it, press A, and we'll interact with it. To progress, we're going to need to get that grubby mirror cleaned. Now, don't do what I did and waste your time trying to find something in the barn. We need to travel back to the main house. Run across the front garden, back into the house, and then make your way into the kitchen. On the counter, there is a cloth that we can pick up. Grab it and then make your way back to the suspicious looking mirror in the barn. Interact with the mirror by pressing A and then click through the dialogue. It will then ask you to approach the mirror. Accept and a cutscene will ensue. Next thing you know, we're being dragged into other people's issues. Great. On the other side of the cutscene, we will come through the fanciest front door ever, and we will be met with the magical world of Junior. Now speak to the little rabbit guy just below us and we will get our next quest. This little lad will welcome us to the world and he will let us know that we are the ones that are meant to fill a prophecy. Our character looks blankly like, all I wanted to do was move into my new house, set up my gaming PC and play Dota 2. But no, here we are sorting out your issues. Once we are done chatting with our new friend, we'll get our next achievement for speaking to Finn in the stone garden. And now our next quest is to find a sword and shield. That shouldn't be too hard. Before we do that, we're going to pick up a couple more quests along the way. We're going to head south, and then at the T-junction, we're going to take a left. Follow the path up the hill and we'll meet Hedgehog Clyde, sitting inside this tree. Clyde lets us know that we need a piece of fungus to let him get out of our way. Cheers, Clyde. Real team player you are, aren't you? Thanks, buddy. Once we're done talking to Mr. Team Player, we're going to make our way down the hill, and just before we get armed, we're going to talk to the shop owner just to the left for another quest. Sadly, we can't use this shop until Enid the Witch blesses the caravan shop, so there's another quest for us to do. Once we've spoken to the shop, it's now time to get a weapon. Make your way east onto the next screen. From there, keep making your way to the right hand side. Once we're on the next screen, we will be faced with a big fancy castle in the background. But what is that in the foreground? Go up to the memorial and a cutscene will ensue, and this is where we get our fancy new sword. You've heard of King Arthur and the Stone, now you're about to witness Queen Morvi get a free sword. We get a little World of Warcraft level up animation and we're back into the game. Now armed and dangerous. All we need is a shield. Before we do that, we're going to pick up another quest. Make your way to the right of the screen once again with your newly found sword, and we're going to meet a very oversized cat. Speak to it and we'll get ourselves another quest, but we won't be able to complete it until a little bit later. Also, this little cute critter down here is our secret item that we'll be collecting along the way. We have yet to pick the quest up, so for now I have left this one. We will be coming back this way shortly, so we'll grab it then. Once we've accepted the quest, it's now time to make our way back to where we spawned. So make your way to the left of the screen twice. Once we're back at the T-junction, make your way north and then past the flower and onto the screen above. We will be met with a secret little manor house in the forest. Enter the front door and we'll be greeted with a bunch of zany rabbits, all with tasks for us to complete. Looking around this building and talking to the residents, it will give us an idea of what to expect. A missing painting, NPCs talking about the masked mansion. It's all foreshadowing. Interact with the missing painting on the right hand of the building and we'll receive a new quest. On the right hand side of the house, go up to the cupboard here. Next to the missing painting on the right hand side of the house, there will be a cupboard. Interact with it and this is where we'll get our shield. Make your way to the left hand side of the room and there is another 2 bunnies for us to talk to. We will get another 2 quests from them. Then once they're both done talking, we can clean up the mirror in the back of the room and we can make our way outside to finish up the armed up quest. Once we're outside, we're going to go to the left of the building and we're going to start speaking to Spiff the trainer. Dude's floating, so he shall be referred to as Spliff from here on out. Spliff is going to teach us how to slay the competition. We will be taught how to attack and how to defend. Once we've done that, we will also learn how to do the dodge mechanic and also our special ability. We will get more as we go along, but just for now, we have the one. We'll also learn about fire bombs. Now, bombs can be handy in taking down tricky foes, but to be honest, if you follow my guide bit by bit, we will be overpowering them by the end without the use of any bombs. There is an achievement linked with buying bombs, but we're going to do that a little bit later, once we've got a big stack of coin. This tutorial is really easy to get through, it's just going to show you the basics, but I'm going to show you how to actually fight enemies a little bit later on. Once we've gotten through the tutorial, we will get our next achievement, Sword, Shield, Fight, for 10 Gamerscore. We will receive a piece of fungus, so now we can give it to the hedgehog and we can get on our way. From here, go south and at the T-junction, go left. Make your way up the path and give the fungus to Clyde. Once you've given him the fungus, speak to him again and the path to the mushroom forest is now open. Sadly, there is no Mario here to help us. We are now met with a vaporwave hellscape world that is the mushroom forest. For the time being, everything is safe, so we're going to push on through to the right hand side. We're going to start seeing these little mushroom headed lads. Now, they don't look friendly, but don't worry, they are. Well, they're friendly for about 5 minutes. Make your way to the middle of the area and you'll notice a floating gem. Go up to said gem and press A. A cutscene will start and our big bad will show her face. This is Queen Dreader. If you've been following the story along so far, you will know the similarities it has with Alice in Wonderland. So technically, Queen Dredder is the Queen of Hearts. Sadly, she isn't too friendly and turns our mushroom lads into enemies, and now we're into our first battle. Now, I know we just had a tutorial showing us how to beat our enemies, but let me show you how all battles take place. Gather the enemies up in one bunch, and you start swinging. Every non-boss enemy in this game can be stun-locked until they die. The combat is pretty simplistic, and taking down enemies is very easy, especially since they don't hit back if you constantly keep hitting them. Bosses are a little bit different and do offer a bit more of a challenge, but normal mobs can be steamrolled. Clear the area of enemies and we'll be rewarded with our next achievement, a grand visit for 10 Gamerscore. Once our achievement has popped, we can push on to the right hand side onto the next screen. Push on through the next screen, killing any mobs and destroying any pots along the way. Remember, we need to grab a bunch of cash for 2 achievements a little bit later on. The next screen is nice and safe. We'll be met with a friendly witch's hut. This is where we'll meet Enid. We need Enid to help bless the caravan. To complete the blessing, Enid needs us to gather weeping fungi. I thought I'd mention this part now as I didn't realise it was here until a little bit later. If you come over to this mob, you can level up your character. This allows you to hit harder and take more shots. You level up by spending feathers. You get feathers by killing enemies. The more enemies you kill, the more feathers you get. It's similar to FromSoft games, but don't worry, if you die, you don't have to do a corpse run. Now, I only say this because I didn't actually do this until after the first boss. I did wonder why it was taking so long, but I was just determined to do it. Walk to the right so we can get to the next screen. Make your way through the green mushroom men and you'll find weeping fungi at the end of the path. It looks like he wants to have a friendly chat and nothing more. That is until he asks us if green is the best colour. If you disagree and let him know that pastel pink is actually the best colour, he won't like that one bit and he'll pull himself out of the ground ready to take our life. And this is our first boss fight. Now, if you've taken my advice and leveled up a couple times, you'll be able to do some extra damage, but please remember on this footage I am still level 1. Weeping Fungi has a few abilities. The first one I come across is his AoE rain ability. This ability lets him rain down fungus that hits the ground and causes splash damage. It's best just to walk away from the boss on this ability. His second ability I came across was another AoE ability, very similar to the first. Simply put distance between yourself and him. Ability 3, he stands in place while spinning around shooting projectiles from his hands. You can dash behind him on this ability and you're able to land some free shots on his back. His fourth and final ability is a close range swipe. Simply get behind him when he swipes and he'll completely miss you. Now it's just dodge his abilities and deal some damage in between. Don't forget we do have a special ability attached to the LB button. We will shoot a group of ice bolts from our shield. This does a lot more damage than our standard 10 damage swipe ability. If you leveled up, you will be doing a little bit more damage than me. I will shorten this fight a little bit to save you guys watching it all. If you're having trouble, you should have received some health potions to help you through the fight. Once the fungi is dead, we will receive our next achievement, Fungi, bagging ourselves another 10 gamer score. We will also receive his head. It is a little bit sad really, he was a cool little lad and he just liked the colour green. Now that he's defeated, we can make our way back to the witch. I made sure to show the green mushrooms who's boss. I just deaded their leader, so now I'm going to steamroll them. I also wanted their coins, let's be honest. On the way back, you'll also see this burnt out campfire. Go up to it and pick up the logs. We will need these for a quest shortly. On the next screen, we will walk past a second campfire, go to this and also pick up these logs. We now have 2 sets of logs. Make your way over to Enid the Witch and hand her the head of our enemy, like some sort of Genghis Khan in Wonderland type story. Once we've spoken to Enid, she'll let us know that there is another item that we need for the blessing, so it's time to find Buvadar the Bison and to ask for a piece of his fur. I'm sure he's just going to give it up without a fight, right? That's what's going to happen. Before we continue, we should poke our heads into the witch's house as there is an achievement waiting for us. Go into the house, up the ladder on the right hand side and make your way over to the left hand side of the bed. Interact with it and sleep in the bed. Once awake, we will have the achievement, Well Rested, for 5 gamer score. Also note, you can sleep in the witch's bed to fully restore your health in the future. Now, it's time to start collecting. In the same room as the witch's bed, you will see another white collectible, Bathing. Go right up to this little one and press up on the D-pad to start dancing. If close enough, it will start to vibrate until it implodes into a golden World of Warcraft level up animation. Once we've done that, we can exit the building. And that's how we're going to collect all of the collectibles in this game. Before we move on, just in front of the witch's house, there is a cauldron. Speak to the cauldron gives us a new quest that requires 4 bunches of logs. We've picked up 2, and now we'll get the other 2 shortly. Now, make your way back to the right of the screen. We're going back to where we killed the weeping fungi. Now the path's cleared that we can get to the next area. Once we're in this area, we're going to follow the path up here. I did wander off a little bit, but ignore what I did and just cut straight to where we need to go. Walking into the next area under this tree, we will be met with the new friendly face, Idris the Mighty. The King of the Stags lets us know that if we want to see the bison, we must first help the deers. So, make your way back out to the previous area. From here, there are 4 deer mobs in this area, each with their own quest. You'll find one near the entrance of this area, and the other 3 are found in the top right, as well as the top and left middle of this area. Now, you can do the achievements as you pick them up, but I would suggest going around picking up all 4 achievements and then doing them together. This will greatly lessen your time in this area, and we can get all of the quests done in one go. So if you watch this little bit here, I'm going to show you where all the locations of the quests, and then we're going to complete them. The first quest we're going to do is remove the larvae from the lakes. These little snaky bushes are easy to spot. Simply go up to them, give them a whack. There are 4 in the area, and they are chilling in the watery areas of the map. The second and third quest, we're going to have to do a little bit of murdering. We will need to kill both of the flying mosquito mobs, as well as the giant forest demon looking chaps. As I said previously, pretty much every non-boss mob can be stun locked. So for these 2 quests, I would gather a few of each mob, kite them into a bit of a bunch, and then use your special ability, and then start swinging randomly, yet furiously, in the direction of them to keep them stunned. This one is really easy to do, and the more you've leveled yourself up, the quicker it will be. At this point, I still didn't realise I could level up, and I'm only hitting 10s, so do not do what I did. But other than that, it's really easy. Run around the area and clear anything that moves. As you can see, stun lock them into oblivion and they won't do damage to you. A really good tip is if you keep hitting them, hit them to the walls by the mushrooms. This way they'll get stuck and you can constantly hit them without them moving backwards. And an even bigger tip, if you can stack them, you can get multiple damage on multiple enemies. As I said, if you level up, this will take a lot quicker than it took me. This was a little bit of a tedious section, but it was my own fault for not leveling up. Also, it's a good way to grind XP so we can level up even further, so think of the silver lining. Once both of these quests are complete, we're going to go and hand them in, and now it's on to the final one. The fourth and final quest has us destroying 5 cabbage-looking plants in the area. This one is super easy as well. If you've cleared the area, the mobs don't respawn until you leave the area. If they have respawned, the AI isn't the smartest, so you can pretty much get to every plant without any enemy paying attention. Once this is done, we can go up to each deer and hand in the quests. We'll collect 4 mushrooms, 1 from each deer, as a reward. And then we can take this reward over to Idris the Mighty. Before we do, make sure to pick up our next collectible. It can be found hidden in this plant just to the left of the King of the Deer's entrance. Give it a little boogie, collect it, and we can move on. Hand over the mushies to Deer King, and then strap your boots up because it's time for our next boss fight. When you get into the arena, we are going to walk over to Boulevard and we're going to have a little chat with him. We only need a little bit of his fur, but I think he misunderstands us and he thinks that we want his head. So, just like that, he is angry and he is no longer our friend or buddy. we'll be teleported into Bison's arena. Speak to him, and even though we mean this lad no harm at all, he gets the wrong end of the stick, and now he wants to trample us. As you can see, this is where I finally started questioning if I was able to level up. So, after a few of attempts of being one-shot over and over, I decided to look into where I could level up. I ended up being able to go from level 1 to level 6, so it was quite a bit of a boost. Now, it's time for round 2 with the Bison. Instead of hitting 10s, I am now hitting 60s on average, so very decent. Bouvador doesn't have many abilities. His main one is charge. He will move away from you and line up a charge. Super easy to avoid. He does have a horn attack if you're in front of him, as well as a roar type attack. Each one is really easy to dodge, and the animations for these attacks are quite long, so you can get a lot of damage in really quickly once you've dodged them. Also remember, use your special as he's running away, as it will chase him to the ends of the earth, as it has unlimited range. And this hits very, very hard. He may also stamp when he's further away, bringing rocks down to trap you. Simply attack the same one and step out. Don't panic, they aren't impenetrable. Rinse and repeat, and this big guy is dead. It's actually really sad seeing him at the end, because this could have all been avoided if our character had just spoken up. But no, instead we walk into this beast's home to murder him so we can bless a caravan. Once he's dead, we will get our next achievement though. Tragic Brave, getting another 10 gamer score. Spliff will show up, letting us know that we've got a new special ability, a Spear Dash. This charge ability is quite handy in combat as well as getting around. Once Spliff's done talking, we are now going to make our way back to Enid the Witch. Once you're done having a little chat, we can now go into her basement and start to mix a blessing potion. From here, we're going to make our way into her house and go into the basement. Put both ingredients into the cauldron. We will now be told we cannot light it, so we need to make our way back outside of the front of the house and go up to the cauldron. If you've been following what I've been doing so far, you will already have this quest as well as 2 sets of logs. Now it's time to get the last 2 sets. Thankfully, they are just outside the witch's house. But before we do that, it's time to collect another quest. I know it seems like I'm just making you grab quests at random, but this is so they can be done in the most streamlined way possible. Behind the cauldron, you should see this big face poking its tongue out in the background. Make your way over there and have a little chat. You will now have a quest to awaken the spirits. Now, let's go get them logs. Just to the right of the cauldron are sitting the 3rd set of logs. Pick them up, and then we're going to start making our way to the right hand side as if we're going to the next screen. But just before the next screen, we're going to make our way down to the south, and there's a little path. Our 4th and final logs are at the end of that path. On the way back to the cauldron, we can find our first set of spirits. They can be found just here, just by the witch's washing line. Once you've collected the first lot of ancestors, we're going to walk directly south to get another quest, and we're going to speak to this familiar looking creature sitting on a throne. Artorius the Collector tasks us in finding us all of his collectibles. We've already found 2 for him, and there is one right next to his throne. Don't forget to have a little dance and collect it. Looking back over this footage, I now realise the more you collect, the more rewards he gives you. Now, I was rushing through this. I assumed he was just at another shop and I never came here to collect any of these rewards. Just goes to show you, you don't actually need them. Now, go back to the cauldron to light it, complete our quest, and then we can make our way back down into the witch's basement to finish off our blessing. We can now leave the witch's house. Make sure to loot all of the chests in the basement as there are some handy supplies in there. Once we're outside of the house, run south as we're now going to make our way back to the caravan. On this next screen, before we miss it, we're going to wake up the next ancestor. They can be found just near the entrance to Enid the Witch's area, just here. At the top of the hill of this area, there is our next ancestor. For our final two ancestors, we'll find them in the area where we first met Queen Dreader. As you can see, I am killing everything as I go and destroying the vases, as we will need the gold for achievements later on, so bear that in mind. But our next awoken spirit is right here. Once we've woken them from their nap, we can move on to the left hand side onto the next screen. The first is in the top right of the area, and the last is just near the left hand side entrance of this area. We're going to grab the one on the right just now, and then we're going to hand in a quest before we get the last one. As you can see, the spirits are just above the door we came through. Now to run over to the left hand side and finish up the last ancestor, and then we can go and speak to Clyde. The last ancestor can be found just above the entrance to the path that goes to Clyde. Easy as that, and that quest is complete. Now run over to Clyde and speak to him, and he'll take us back to the caravan. We're going to give the caravan their blessing so they can open up business again, but also because there's an achievement waiting for us. On the next screen, make your way down to the caravan on the bottom left, speak to the vendor to hand in the quest. The next achievement we're collecting is Little Shop, getting another 10 Gamerscore. Now it's time to walk back to Enid the Witch's house. On the way, we're also going to collect our next collectible. We have grabbed all of the ancestors, so we don't actually need anything on this screen, so we're going to move all the way over to the right hand side, and on this screen is where we'll find our collectible. It is just hiding just in front of this log. Do a little boogie and it is all yours. Now let's get to the witch. Go up to the big old ancestor at the back, have a little chat and let them know that all of his buddies are now awoken, and our next achievement is ours. Now speak to Enid and we'll get the key to the attic of her house. We now have the ability to fast travel here from the attic. No more long walks. Have a little chat with Enid to complete the quest, and then we can move on. The attic entrance is separate to the front door. It is just to the left of the mini ramp. When inside, clear the room of pots and open up the chest. Then make your way over to the middle of the room. there will be sheet music to pick up. This is needed for a quest that we picked up right at the beginning of the game. Now, clean that mirror and interact with it. We are now going to teleport back to the Victorian house. Once we've loaded in, we're going to give the sheet music to the bunny playing the piano. He is the one just by the mirror. He will be over the moon and hand us some opera binoculars. Once he's done talking, it is time for us to get into the Mask Mansion. Make your way to the front door of this building, but do not go outside. On the wall is a set of masks. Interact with it, and this will then turn into the hidden entrance to the Mask Mansion. Once you've taken in the surroundings, we're going to make our way to either left or right of the screen, as both of these doors take us to the same room. Once inside, we're going to find some new bunny pals. 2 of them have quests for us to grab. First off, speak to Obi. He can be found here. He needs his missing shiny emblem returned. Once we've grabbed that quest, we're going to go to the back right of this room and we're going to unlock the next fast travel location, as this one is really handy. Then we're going to walk to the left of the mirror and we're going to pick up our next quest off Oben. He's tasked us with a much more serious task: to liberate the bunnies. Now, make your way out of this room and now we're back into the main foyer. Make your way up the stairs. If you take the right path up the stairs and then go right at the top, we will find our next collectible. Do a little boogie, pick it up and then turn around and make your way to the top of the stairs and then walk through the door. On the next screen, you will see that you can go left, right, or straight ahead. Now, on the left hand side, there is a puzzle that we need to fix. We're going to leave that for the minute and we're going to push on. So, come out of this room. On the right hand side, we have a bunny we can talk to and an item we can inspect. Again, currently there's nothing we can do here until we progress the liberation quest. So, straight ahead and talk to the big bad panda bouncer. Once we've done chatting, we will have another quest under our belt. We've been told we can't get past him until we have a costume, so now it's time to hunt. Walk back down the corridor and take the right path. That item that we could interact with, well, we can now pick it up and this is our first part of the costume. Now, we're going to take the left path. Once we're on the next screen, just to the right of the door, our next costume piece is sitting in the clearing. Make your way back to the main foyer. Go back to where we found our collectible upstairs. Right next to it is our next costume piece, and then we can finally make our way down the stairs. As you can see, I'm going around clearing all of the vases to get that extra gold so we can get them achievements later on. A little tip, if you want to farm some gold, if you break all the vases, then step out of the area and then step back in, the vases will respawn, meaning infinite gold. If only real life was like that. In the bottom left corner of the foyer, that's where our final piece can be found. So now we're going to get back to the boiler room where all the bunnies are, and we're going to go to the back of the room. Speak to Oben, and he can help us put all these pieces together. Easy. We are now going to get a few achievements back to back, so be ready. Once the outfit has been made, make your way back to the foyer. As you're making your way up the stairs, you'll be hit with a cutscene. We are going to be attacked by marionette jesters. Just like every other mob in this game, it's time to group them up and stun lock them. There's 3 waves to kill, and then the encounter is over. You will get your next achievement for beating them down. Annoyingly, mine didn't pop when I originally did it, but the devs got to work and put a little update in to fix that. And then it popped when I loaded up for the second time. Massive props to them. Some devs wouldn't have bothered doing that, so massive thumbs up to you guys. Top lads. Once they are all dead and you have your achievement, we are now going to press the pause button and we're going to make our way over to the hats panel. We are going to equip our masquerade mask and we'll get our next achievement, an actor, for 10 Gamerscore. Now, run back upstairs to the panda bouncer, make sure we have our mask on, and that quest is complete. He will step out of our way and we can push on to the next screen. Once inside, we are now inside the workshop. You will see Mr. Hatter just ahead of you. Speak to him and we'll get our next quest. He wants us to pick up 9 piles of clothing. If you follow what I'm doing on screen now, you'll be able to find them piles really easily, but they do stand out like a sore thumb. So we're going to run around and get all 9. As you can see, it's really easy. For the most part, they are out of the way of Tweedledee and Tweedledum. We can easily run around and collect them. And some even double up in the same area, so it makes it even easier. Once we've got the 9, then it's on to part 2 of this quest. Once we've got 9, we can rejoice. But it's not over yet. There's part 2 of this plan. Then we need to hand each pile of clothes to each bunny that is working at a desk. This is really easy. You can usually get around each batch of tables in one run. If you get caught by either Tweedledee or Tweedledum, you'll be teleported to the beginning of this room. You won't lose any piles of clothes and you can push on. So it's really easy to hand them out and finish this quest. Once all 9 have been handed out, go back to the Hatter and we now have to give the work report to Tweedledum. Once we've done that, a cutscene will ensue, and once it's done, it's time for our next boss fight. Can you guess who it's going to be? Before we continue, we're going to go into the top right of this room, and then you'll see our next collectible just sitting on the bench. Do a little boogie, and then we'll collect it, and we can move on to the next area, which is a boss fight. Now, you've seen Ornstein and Smaug, or Sumo if you want to get political about it. You've seen the Godskin duo. Now it's time for Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Fighting these two does look a little bit tricky, but they aren't the hardest to get down. They both rotate between 4 abilities. A melee strike that they can charge up, hitting the area around them for 3 times. A lunging attack where they can come forward with their hammer. A super easily avoidable stun. And finally, an AoE ability where they spin around, hitting anything in its path. They think they are a Diablo 3 barbarian by the looks of things. This one is pretty much a doddle. Their attacks are easily readable and you can get them together, so one attack can hit them both. That's 2 stoned birds. Keep kiting them around the map, getting the hits in when they're doing their little strikes. Once again, if this one's a little bit tricky, go back to our friend at Enid the Witch's house and we can level up a little bit. Personally, I found this one to be one of the easier bosses so far. Their attacks are easily readable, and as you can see, they do stand around and just let you wail on them for a little while. When they start moving again, it's easy just to get around them either counterclockwise or clockwise. But just like this part of the clip, they'll stand together and you can do 2 amounts of damage with 1 swing. It's super duper handy. Again, the shield ability on LB does loads of damage, so bear that in mind. Now, I'll see you on the other end of this boss fight. Once these 2 are down, we'll get our next achievement, and then we can move on to the left of the screen. Once in the next room, we can clean the mirror, unlocking our new fast travel spot. Move down the corridor, breaking all of the vases as we go, and you'll notice that there's a painting in the corner. Interact with it and we'll pick it up. This is the missing painting from the Victorian house. Go through the door to the north and we'll be met with a broken lift. Our next task is to find the lever to get that lift working. Why does nothing work in this world, or any of these game worlds for that matter? Where are the janitors? Where are the handymen when we need them? Now, we're going to work our way back to our new mirror and teleport back to the Victorian house. Make your way to the right side of the building and we're going to hang that painting. Once it's up, interact with it once again and we've unlocked a new area to explore. On the other side of the painting, we are in a new mushroom area. Just ahead of where we just start off in this area, our next collectible is waiting for us. It is just hidden in this teacup. Have a little dance and pick it up. Next to the collectible is a teacup we can pick up. Grab that, and then we can see a new friend in the distance. Go up to him and we can have a chat. I'm sure he'll have a quest for us, no doubt. Our next quest is to collect the rest of the teacups in the area for Toppy. We have the first one already. The second one is opposite the path leading to Toppy. The next is just up the path, just a little bit to the left. Then keep on pushing up the path and it will fork. We're going to take the left path first. Once next area is loaded, follow the path and you'll see the fourth teacup waiting for us. The final one is literally just up ahead. It's next to the slimy chest. If we interact with the chest, we'll also get another new quest. Now, we have all 5 teacups. Let's make our way back to Toppy and hand it in. When we hand it in, we'll be met with a new achievement, Teacups for Toppy, giving us another 10 Gamerscore. Once we're done with Toppy, let's find out what made that chest slimy. So we're going to make our way up the path again, but this time, at the fork, we're going to take the right path. If you've been paying attention to previous areas, you will notice that we've just stepped into a boss room. We see this slimy little lad in the distance with his back to us. Let's go have a chat with him and see what he has to say. I'm sure he's a new friend. Sadly, he doesn't like being disturbed, so it's now time to kill him, I guess. Ugsak the Glutton is a very easy boss to beat. He has only a few attacks and they are pretty slow and super easy to read. His first ability we're going to talk about is his AoE fart ability. He will stop moving and start to shake. Once he is done, he will shoot green slime around him, damaging anyone near him. This one's easy, just step away from him for a second, maybe use your shield ability, get some damage in, but other than that, easy as. His second ability, he will do a roar in the direction he is looking at and then shoot projectiles in that direction. Easy peasy, just dodge out of the way. His final ability is a close range bite. If you go around counterclockwise or clockwise, he will miss you. As you can see from my footage, if you keep circling him while attacking, none of his hits should land on you. Rinse and repeat, and then once we're done, we'll get another achievement once this little sluggy lad is dead. Once we've taken him down, he will drop a slimy key. Spliff will appear and let us know that we've got a new special ability added to the LT button. Now, we're going to back out of this area, then once we're in the previous screen, we're going to go down the left path. At the end of that path, we can now unlock the slimy chest. Once we've unlocked the chest, we're going to get another achievement, Gooey Delight. Inside the chest, we'll get a blue cheese cupcake. Now, if you remember, that was something that we needed to collect nearly at the beginning of the game. Make your way back to Topper and use the mirror so we can go to the Victorian house. Once you're at the house, speak to Theo the chef and hand him the cake. He'll be super duper happy and that quest will be complete. Once that quest is complete, we will get a clock hand that we can use later on. Step outside the house and on the right hand side of the garden, our next collectible is sitting on the bench waiting for us. You know the drill at this point, we're going to do a little boogie and then we're going to collect our next collectible. While we're here, we're going to go pick up our next collectible. Go south of the next screen and from here make your way south to the T-junction and then take the right. Keep on going right past the castle and then we're on the next screen where we meet the big cat. Keep on running right until we're on the screen with a really big cat. Next to that big cat, it's time to grab our next collectible. Once we've collected that, let's go get our next achievement. Make your way to the caravan shop that we helped out earlier. If you've been collecting coins like I've been telling you to do, you should have more than enough coin for this achievement. For this achievement, we're going to need 1500 coins, and that is to buy 30 potions. Each potion costs 50 coins. And just like that, we have a massive stack of potions and we've got our next achievement under our belt. From here, I would suggest that we make our way to Enid the Witch so we can level up. And then from there, we can go to the attic to use the mirror and fast travel to the Soot Bunny's basement. If you haven't done it recently, you'll have a lot of points to spend. Remember, the bigger the level, the more you'll hit. So let's get that level in. There's also an achievement tag to level in, so we need to get to level 20. So don't shy away from them battles. When we enter the Soot Bunny's room, we're going to run to the south and make our way into the foyer. From here, we're going to go up the stairs, pick either way up, and then we're going to head into the door to the north. Remember, killing these jesters gives a lot of gold. But once they've all been murdered, get yourself up them stairs, then through the door to the north. Then from here, we're going to take the left corridor. It's now time to do that puzzle. Go up to the puzzle and enter. Red is the top hat, green is the cog, and blue is the pair of scissors. Inside the puzzle, we will get the Soot Bunny's stolen emblem. Once the cutscene has ended, we are going to take that back to the Soot Bunnies down below, and this will get our next achievement, and that achievement is Glimmer of Hope. Make your way over to the mirror in the corner of the room, and now we're going to teleport to the tea party. Make your way to where we just killed Ugsak. So, on the forked road, take the right. As you can see at the back of the arena, there is now a new area we can go to. In this new area, we're going to walk up the path. You will notice a new mirror that needs to be cleaned just on the right as you're walking up the path. There's a lot of vases in this area. Smash them up and let's get some cash. Then, once that's been cleared, we're going to carry on going up the path and we're going to speak to the piggy looking dragon at the top. At the moment, we can't talk to him as he's in a little bit of a trance. So, now we have a new quest, to wake them up. Backtrack a little bit to the stairs, and just to the left, it's a plant that we can pick up. Once we've done that, the quest is updated and we need to find 4 more. Number 2 is just below the first, just as the hill peaks. Number 3 is just at the bottom of the hill to the left. Number 4 is just south of the mirror. And finally, number 5 is just hidden in a little path just at the start of the area to the left. Once you've grabbed all 5, we can return them back up the hill, but before we hand them in, just go to the right of the dragon and there is a broken teacup. Inside that is our next collectible. You know the drill. Have a little dance. Now it's time to wake up the dragon with the plants that we've just picked up. And now it's time to fight a boss that I was not expecting. Speak to the dragon again and tell him you are ready. And the next thing you know, you're looking at a 3-headed dragon inside a teacup flying around you. Of course you are. Now, this boss does look a lot harder than it actually is, don't you worry. It has 2 abilities. The first, it shoots a bunch of fireballs at you. You can easily dodge out of the way of these, just run to the opposite side of the arena that you are. The last one is that each head takes a turn slamming into the ground. Dodge the head, then you have some time to do some damage. Remember to shoot some ice balls from your shield when you can't get the hit in on the boss, as you'll do a ton of damage to him. Rinse and repeat, and as you can see, I made quick work of this one. Once it's down, we'll get the next achievement, Nightmare Fuel, for 10 Gamerscore. Chat to the dragon once again and we'll be taken to the next area. Once we've gotten control of our character, walk up the path, clear the vases for gold and open the chest for the witch's hat. Once this area has been cleared, speak to the bunny and he's going to open the door for us to get our first heart key. Make sure you break all of the vases and collect all of the gold, as we're going to need these for a few achievements later on, as well as an item for a quest. The area that holds the keys is probably the prettiest and coolest areas of the game. The aesthetics is very different to the rest of the game. I was half expecting to see the Elden Beast turn up. Go up to the floating heart and give it a hit, and this will get our next achievement, Take Heart. Once we've got it, we'll be taken back to where it all started. We are now going to make our way back to the big cat, so make your way to the T-junction and then go right for 2 screens. Once you're in this area, we're going to go up to this building and use the lockpick that we previously picked up on the door and pop the lock. We are now going to make a ticket so we can ride to the next area. Go up to the book on the right hand side table and we'll be told how to get a ticket. We're going to turn around and interact with the clocks behind us. Then we're going to go to the cash register and interact with that. We're going to use the clock hand that we got previously from the quest, use it on this clock, and then it will start to work again. We are now going to pay 100 coins for a ticket, and voila, we can move on. Step outside the building and walk to the right. Interact with the vehicle and we're off. This new area is the Labyrinth. It's one of the prettier areas in the game. We're going to make our way down the path and just to the top left we're going to find our next fast travel. So clean that mirror, then once that's complete we're going to walk down a tiny bit to the south so we can speak to Alina the crane. Once we've spoken to her, we're going to get our next achievement, the Guardian. We are now going to walk into the top right corner of this screen and we're going to take a quiz from a frog. Yes, you heard me right. Don't you worry, I'm going to help you cheat on this quiz and the prize is something we both want. He will first ask us if frogs can drink through their skin. The answer is yes. Next, can frogs hold their breath for more than 1 hour? No, they cannot. And finally, do frogs blink to swallow their food? The answer is yes. And just like that, the quest is complete and we've got our next achievement. I told you it's something we both wanted. And once that's all completed, we can walk up to the stairs to the north and get onto the next screen. When on the next screen, we're going to talk to the cockatrice that is in the middle of the map. We're going to get a new quest and we need to help him get Helios the crab to leave. Helios can be found on the left hand side of this area. If you speak to him, he doesn't seem to understand why the cockatrice is so upset. Either way, we need to get this quest done. But we have a few more on our list to do first, so we're going to shelve this one and come back shortly. We're now going to move to the right hand side of the screen, as we need to get an ancient door open by solving a puzzle. We need to find symbols in this area to open the locked door. The first can be found just to the left of the door. Go up to it and interact with it. The second can be found northwest of the cockatrice. The third is southeast of the cockatrice, and the fourth and final one is to the southwest. Once you've done that, we need to find the code. This can be found just to the right of the third symbol. The secret code to unlock this door is as follows: 3142. By inputting this code, we will get our next achievement, Ancient Wisdom, for 20 Gamerscore. The door will open and we can move on. On the next screen, we'll see a floating item to pick up. When we grab it, it will trigger an ambush. As usual, stun lock them and get them down ASAP. Once they are dead and complete, make your way to the right of the room and we'll find an Ember Lotus the crane asked us to find. Pick it up and we can start to backtrack to the crane. Once we are there, we can speak to the crane and she'll let us know that we need to place the ember on the sleeping goddess. She can be found at the bottom right of this screen. But before we do that, you will notice that there's a collectible hiding on the sleeping goddess. Make sure you climb on her back and collect them, and then we can interact with the statue. The statue will cover itself with flowers and then we can go and speak to the crane once again. At the end of this quest, we are going to get a new item, the crane feather, and we'll need that to open the next area. We are now going to make our way north once again on the cockatrice's screen. Once we are there, we are going to the top left of this area onto the new screen. We will be met with a demonic looking doorway. If we speak to this door, it will let us know that it requires some items from us before it will let us through. Before we hand it the feather, we are going to clear the area of vases, and there is also a collectible to the right of the doorway. Pick it up and then go back to the door and we're going to hand the feather to it. Do not skip on breaking the vases as we still need the gold for one achievement and one item to buy for a quest later on. Now, after that, we need an egg. Any eagle-eyed gamer would see that the cockatrice is sitting on one. It's time to do its bidding and move that crab on. If you speak to the crab, you'll know he isn't going to move just by asking him, so give him a whack. And then another one. After a couple of hits, he will lose his temper and a new boss fight is upon us. The area is quite small and he does have a couple of AoE abilities. Thankfully he is pretty weak, so you can blast his health bar down. When he starts flashing blue, move away and then get back in there and get him down quickly. As you can see, he doesn't do much movement on this phase, so you can just keep running in and running out, doing damage when you can. He does have 3 phases, so this is the easiest of the 3, but keep on slapping him and we'll get him down to phase 2. Sadly, this isn't the end. He will run away, and now there are a bunch of mobs around the cockatrice that will need to be dropped. So make your way to the middle of the area and we can start killing. Helios will run to the north of this area, but once the mobs are down, he will just make his way back over to you. Now it's time to get his health down once again. This time though, instead of the AoE attack, he will do a claw attack aiming directly in front of him. This is even easier to dodge and we have very little downtime of doing no damage. Once his health has been drained, once again, the coward will run and summon some more mobs for us to wipe out. There is quite a bit of downtime between his attacks, so you can get a lot of damage in. Also, as you can see, I got him stuck on this fallen pillar on the floor, and he didn't seem to do a lot, so I got most of his health down without him even trying to attack me. We've got him down for a second time now, and there we go, he runs away. And now we have to kill all of his... henchmen. But don't you worry, do all your special abilities, get all that AoE flying towards them, and we can beat them quick time. And then Helios will come back for the 3rd and final time. Now it's wave 3 and we have to deal with Helios and mobs at the same time. Helios uses both abilities this time, but again, super duper easy to deal with. The mobs, just make sure you stack them together and use your specials to your advantage. It's probably best to kill the mobs first and then finish off the crab for the last time. Once he's down, we will get our next achievement. All that glitters for 20 Gamerscore. Speak to that big old chicken and he'll be over the moon that we got Helios packing. We will be given a ruby egg, and this is the next item we need to hand over to the door. Make your way northwest back to the door and hand the egg over. We only have one more trial to do, and thankfully we don't have to move anywhere. The door will summon a bunch of enemies for us to fight. Some big, some small. Both can be stun locked into oblivion. So, the 3rd and final task is the easiest, so kill them all and our path is open to move on. Now, this is the part of the game where it just kind of throws loads and loads of boss fights at us. In this new corridor, past the demon door, we will meet Shani the Sorceress. We will get a cutscene, and it's quite clear that Shani isn't the friendly character we first thought she was when walking up to her. And just like that, a new challenger approaches. To damage Shani, we need to kill the tentacle things coming out of the ground. Killing both of them in the arena will bring Shani to the centre of the room, and then we can wail on her. As you can see, if you've leveled up quite a bit, you can do a heck load of damage on the first time she comes down. Soon after, she'll fly back into the air and bring some mobs into the mix. Kill them, and then the barriers around the tentacles will drop, and then we can take down the tentacles. And that's pretty much the fight really. She does shoot some projectiles at you when she's in the air, but just dodge around. As you can see, I was more interested in the mobs than her. I didn't really have to freak out or anything. It was just a nice chill fight. Once she is dead, we'll get the achievement Spellbound for 20 gamer score. Take your time with this one. As you can see, there is a little bit of kiting involved, as you don't really want to be bathing in that fire pit. When Shani's not attacking you, turn and attack the mobs. The quicker you get the mobs down, the quicker you can take down the tentacles, and then you can do more damage to Shani. After the cutscene, Spliff will turn up and give us our fourth and final special ability, and this will unlock the achievement All Skilled Up for 10 gamer score. This ability is super duper handy. We slam the floor and then we put an AoE dot on the floor. It's really good for mopping up loads of mobs. Once you've got all your bearings from them achievements, get to the next screen and then go to the left and we'll meet the crane once again. There is also a fast travel mirror next to her. To the left of the crane, we will finally find the lever to the elevator. Yes, you know, the thing we were tasked with quite a while ago. Now, once we've cleaned the mirror and we've got the lever, we're going to go all the way to the right hand side and onto a new screen. Once we pick this up, we're going to walk all the way to the right hand side of the screen into the next area. Make your way around the path, break the glass shards, and we'll get some new items. About halfway through, around at this point, you would see that there's another collectible hidden in the bush. Collect and push on. Keep making your way around the spinny bush, breaking all of the glass as we go so we can pick up some more mirror shards, as we're going to need to make a mirror in a second. At the end of the path, we'll be met with a shattered mirror. We'll get a new quest to repair it. Now, we should have picked up all the shards that we need from breaking them mirror shards. Now, we only need something to stick them together. We're going to backtrack a little bit to the crane so we can use the mirror, and we're going to travel to the theatre storage room. We can finally get that lift working. Make your way to the buttons and add the lever. Once we come out of the lift, we are going to be in a room with a giant chicken. It looks strangely like a boss, and if you thought that, then you'd be right. Speak to the robot, and then the boss fight will begin. This boss has 3 abilities. It will shoot fireballs at us, charge us, and slam on the ground and shoot some coins at us. Like always, dodge the boss's attack, and then we do a little bit of damage. The boss goes down really easily. I haven't mentioned them yet, but this is probably a good time. By now you should have so many health potions on hand. If you're taking a little bit of damage, you have them to lean on. You might be thinking, this isn't the hardest boss fight, what's going on here? And that's because we've got another boss fight directly after this one. Now, he may not be the hardest boss, but he is certainly the most dapper. I do love his little hat and his clock medallion, which I'm assuming he is a massive Flavor Flav fan. Once the chicken's dead, the next door will open and our achievement, Extinct Again, will be unlocked. We will also receive a new item, the Dodo token. Make your way to the right of the room, up the stairs and into the next boss arena. Yes, you heard it right, the next boss arena. Break the vases along the way as we're still collecting gold, as we still need it for 1 achievement and 1 item for a quest later on. We are now met with probably the coolest looking boss in this game. Yes, that's right, you are looking at a metal bird with blades as wings. This is going to be easy, isn't it? Oh, and to top it off, he's got a gun in his mouth, of course. This guy has 3 abilities to watch out for. The first is a laser beam from its mouth. Get close to him and then dodge around the body to hit him from behind. The next 2 are very similar. It's a double melee attack. One has a charge added to it and the other has floor explosions at the end of each melee hit. Again, if you need any heals, remember that you should have a bunch of healing potions stored up. You can kite this guy around the arena a little bit and he does get stuck on parts of the arena, so use that to your advantage. But other than that, this fight is super duper easy. So I'll see you at the end. And just like that, once we get him down, we'll get our next achievement, Bird of Prey. The final part of this area will open up, but before we go into that bit, we're going to grab our next collectible. Make your way up to the newly opened door, and just below it, the collectible is stuck to a cog. Grab it, and then we'll move on through that doorway. On the next screen, there is another collectible waiting for us. Looking towards the left hand of the screen, you'll see it hanging up very eerily. This is one of the last few collectibles to get, so pat yourself on the back, we've nearly done it. Speak to the robot next to the machine in the middle of the room and we'll receive our final token. Then we can put all 3 into the machine. This will unlock our next achievement, Stardust, for turning on the planetarium. Speak to the robot on the right hand side of the room and they'll open the door for us. And we're very close to the end of the game now. Go through the door and make your way to the end of the runway. Open up the chest to the left and we'll get our next hat. Speak to Finn and he'll get the door open, and we can make our way inside to collect our second heart key. And this will get our next achievement, Heartbreaker, for 30 Gamerscore. Take in this area and cherish it, as this is the last time we're going to see it. It's very sad to say, but this was the best looking area of the game. Well done, guys. Very, very pretty. And just like that, there is our final heart piece. We'll be teleported back to where it all began, and Finn will let us know that it has all hit the fan while we've been away. A cutscene will play out and we'll see Queen Dreader stealing all of our friends. Even though it's a sad affair, there is a silver lining that there is a new achievement on the horizon. We know Queen Dreader is the villain, as she now stands here for 5 minutes and tells us her dastardly plan, all while stealing our friends. So we've got to sit through this, have a little chat with our mortal enemy before she decides to run away, and then Finn will tell us that we'll need to save the world. So let's get on to it. And that's when we get the kidnapped achievement. Now, what we're going to do next is go put our second heart key in the doorway, and then it's off to our third and final area, the greenhouse. Before we move on, we're going to pop a couple of achievements I've been holding on to. Open the menu and go to your hat collection. Equip every hat you haven't so far. You should have the top hat and the witch's hat to do. Both of these have an achievement linked on wearing them. See, I kept a couple easy ones to the side so we can get them as a little treat along the way. After this, we're going to make our way into the house and walk over to the right hand side. By the floating candles, we're going to pick up some wax. This can be used to glue the glass shards into the broken mirror. So now we have to make our way to the left hand side of the house, use the mirror, and teleport to the mirror plaza. Once we spawn in, it's monster ambush time. Clear the area and there's going to be a few waves, but as always, stun lock them and we can move on to the right of the screen and get over to that broken mirror. Now it's time to get our final heart key. This area has walking hot dogs. Don't worry, they look scarier than they are. They can be stun locked. Make your way to the top and clear all of the enemies, and then we can quickly complete the puzzle and get into the greenhouse. Something to mention, these mobs will drop items, picture sacks and sundew bulbs. We need these later on. Once they're all dead, go to the left statue outside of the greenhouse and interact with it. The answer to this puzzle is 2 and 0. An ambush will ensue and we'll need to clear the area. It's nothing we haven't seen before. We got some hot dog lads and some alien creatures to try and stop us, but they are no match for us, especially with our special abilities. Once they are dead, we're going to go to the statue on the right hand side. The answer to this one is 6 and 4. Kill the ambush once again and the greenhouse doors will open for us. As I said, these enemies do drop items that we will need in a quest later on. You should have picked them up by now, but if you haven't, you'll definitely get them by the end of this wave. Bunch all the hot dogs up, do some special attacks to get them down ASAP, and then we can move on. As you can see, I use a lot of my special abilities here, as it really does help the situation out. Once it's open, we're going to get our next achievement, Trick Question. Before we move on, we're going to make our way down the hill quickly, as there is a collectible hidden on the screen. If you make your way down south, as if we're going back through the demonic doorway, you'll see it just hidden in this bush, just about here. As you can see, I missed it the first time, but we're going to get it now so we don't miss that achievement. Before we can go into the greenhouse, we need to get an item that will stop us getting poisoned. Any eagle-eyed players will remember that the caravan sells an anti-poison ring. So we need to backtrack a little bit to the caravan so we can buy it for 300 coins. Once you've grabbed it, we can make our way back. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to where we first met Alina the crane in this area, and we're going to make our way back to the mirror. And then from here, we're going to go to the Victorian house, then make our way down to the caravan. We do need this poison ring to get further. Sadly, we cannot hold our breath. We actually have to spend some coin to progress in this one. But by now, you should have more than enough gold. We should be swimming in it. The ring only costs 300 gold. And then once we've got it, it's time to get all the way back. And it's time to get into that greenhouse. This is a little detour, but that's okay. We need to stretch our legs anyway. This is a good time to say also, if you haven't been leveling up, this is a good time to run and get some easy levels. Remember, the bigger the level, the more damage we do. But other than that, it's time to make our way back to the greenhouse. So use the mirrors and I'll see you on the other side. Once inside the greenhouse, kill the mobs and make your way to the back. Interact with the piranha plant and we'll get a new quest. There are some sneaky mobs hiding in the bushes, but don't you worry, stunlock them to hell and then get that gold. Our next quest is to make a weapon to get this piranha plant out of our way. Go to the right and clear the room, and make your way into the top right corner of this room and interact with the machine. The room is full of enemies, so please be wary and get that gold. Add 2 picture sacks. Once that's complete, go to the right of this machine and add a sundew bulb to the other glass tube. So now for the time being, we don't have to do anything more in this room, so let's make our way back to the piranha plant. Now, walk out of this room and go into the left room. Go to the bottom left corner, interact with the terminal, and then a lever will lower from the ceiling. Pull this and the power will turn on. We'll have to fight a hot dog to get there, but don't you worry, I believe in you. These guys are no match for us. We should be super leveled by now. Stunlock him, and then we can pull that lever. Now, once we've done that, we can make our way back into the right-hand room. Now, we turn back to the right room where we put the picture sacks and sundew bulbs, and interact with that machine. This will create an acid bomb for us. Make your way back to the piranha plant and throw the bomb, and this will open the path for us. Again, this is a character that wasn't posing any trouble, or he wasn't actually a nuisance. He was just sitting around minding his own business, and they're about to throw an acid bomb in his face. Something tells me that we're the bad guy in this situation here. Once we're inside the botany lab, we'll meet the botanist. After talking to her, we'll be tasked to turn on the machine. Now, we normally have to go around the room and find the answers, but I am here to the rescue. Go to the terminal in the middle of the room. The left answer is 180 and the right answer is -19. Once you've input them digits, the next boss fight is upon us. Flora Esmeralda is a piranha plant in the middle of the room and she gets a little bit cramped inside her test tube, so decides to break out and say hello. Now, this fight is pretty straightforward. She has similar moves to other bosses in this game. She has a lunge ability that turns into a melee swipe and an AoE ability that rains poison from the sky. Both abilities are easy to dodge. When she's doing the AoE, make sure to walk away and give enough space between you and her. There are a few variations of this swipe, but as long as you run around the boss, you should be more than fine. Once this boss is down, we'll get our next achievement. Pull the plug, and we can now get to the next area. As you can see, this boss isn't really much of a nuisance. I do end up swimming in some of his poison traps, but we have the potions on hand to get that health back up. Also, as you can see, I throw a few fire bombs and ice bombs on him, and this adds some dot damage to him. This will also help get his health down a little bit quicker. Don't forget, we have the 4 special abilities that do a heck load of damage to him. So keep blasting them, keep giving him some swipes, and he'll be down as soon as possible. Once we've beaten the boss and Esmeralda is down, the botanist will pull down the ladder and open up to the next area. We can follow her up once the cutscene ends, and we can start getting more achievements. As soon as we come up the ladder, in front of us to the left is our next collectible. You will need to break the vase, but once it's broken, it's sitting there waiting for us. Make your way around the right hand side of the room and speak to Finn. He'll open the door to our final heart key. But before we go in, we're going to collect our next hat achievement. But before we do that, let's make our way up to Finn and let's get the next area open for us so we can move on quickly. As you can see, just to the left of the doorway, there's a chest. Make sure you open it and we can grab the flower crown. Equipping it will get our next achievement, Flower Power. Smash the vases in this area and make your way through the door to collect our third and final heart key. Queen Dreader, we are coming for you. After picking up the key, we'll get our next achievement, All Heart, and that's going to be our final key achievement completed. We can now open the big wooden door, so make your way back to the screen where we first found our sword, place the final key into the door, and we can move into the final area of the game. It's actually very exciting to get this door open. It's been sitting there the whole game and we've been wondering what is behind it, and now we get to see. On the other side, we'll find ourselves in the garden of Queen Dreader. Finn is there to help us out and let us know to open the door we need to press 4 buttons. Sadly, we have to be stealthy about it, so no fighting at this moment. And I think someone needs to speak to Queen Dreader and she needs to hire more staff, because as you can see in the background, it's not as if we're hiding, we're pretty much in plain sight and they couldn't care less. As you can see, it's not really stealthy. All of the patrol seem to be blind and you can slowly snake your way around them, pressing all of the buttons. As you can see, this area is mirrored, so you'll find the buttons on the opposite sides of each other. You don't have to click the vases like I'm doing now, but I am a fiend for that gold, so you know I have to. And as you can see, you can literally go next to some of the guards and they won't even spot you. So it's really easy. Snake your way around, press the 4 buttons and we can move on. Once that's been completed, the sentry card will spawn. This big spooky lad isn't much trouble. He swings his weapon in a cleave motion in front of him, which is easily dodgeable. He does have an ability where he can freeze a patch of the arena in front of him. This really shouldn't pose any risk to us. This is the one that is most likely to hit you as it lands at your feet. All you have to do is do a quick dodge and you'll negate most of the damage. And his final is an AoE ability that can also be easily dodged. He does have a bunch of adds with this fight, but they are more annoying than hard. As you can see, use your special abilities in conjunction with each other and you'll make short work of it. Keep dodging and slapping and you'll get the Soul Slayer achievement for 30 Gamerscore. Now, he's not as cool as the laser beam bird that we fought previously, but he has a very cool aesthetic. He does remind me of the sentries you find in Elden Ring, but a little bit more friendly. Even though it looks a little bit chaotic on screen, this is one of the easier bosses to take down. He does not have a lot of defense and you can whack a lot of damage onto him and he goes down like a sack of, well, you know. Rinse and repeat, and this one is all yours. Bear in mind, even if you drop the boss, you do have to kill his minions as well, so when he dies and the achievement doesn't pop, don't be scratching your head, kill the little lads and we can move on. The door to the castle is open and now it is time to storm it. But before we go in, we're going to get our final collectible. Just to the left of the front door, you will see it tucked away. Now it's time to rejoice as this is our last time we will need to dance and this is our last collectible to grab. Then we'll get the achievement, Dance Master. Once we're inside, the area forks off into 3 areas. First off, we're going to go to the left path and run into the end of the left hand side. We're going to speak to the 2 guards playing roulette. After speaking to them, we're going to get a new quest to open the Door of Destiny. Step back into the main room and on either side of the left and right doorway there is a button. If you press one of these buttons, it will spawn that particular mob in that particular doorway. For example, the first one we're going to do is we're going to press the left button on the right doorway, which is the clubs. Once we press it and walk into the door, we then have to fight the club knights. Clear the room and we'll get the club card. Now, before we leave this room, go to the bottom right and we'll collect our final mirror fast travel. Give it a clean and we'll get the achievement, Mirror Mirror. Now, that is all fast travel routes completed and all mirrors cleaned. Well done. Now, let's get back to the foyer and let's get them other cards. We can collect the other cards in any order, but the next one I completed was the Spade card, which is the left button on the left doorway. All of these fights play out the same way. We're going to blast through each of the batches, collecting the cards as we go in. After each encounter, you should go to the doorway in the foyer and put the new card into the door, but we can do that at the end. Now, clear up the last 2 cards. I'll be quiet now and I'll pop up again once we've got the 4th and final card. Now, the 4th card is ours. We can go open that door. So, make your way back to the foyer and then head north to the door. We're going to add our final card there. And now it's time to meet Queen Dreader. When opening the door, we will get a cutscene. During this cutscene, we'll get one of the final achievements, Final Showdown. Weirdly enough, as we enter the Queen's chamber, all the Queen's guard and all the Queen's men don't seem to want to murder us and let us walk straight up to her. Great defense, guys. Well done. Top tier. Before the fight, we will have a little chinwag with the Queen herself, but soon after, it is time for a fight. She doesn't seem to see the negatives attached to stealing all of my friends and imprisoning them, so we have to show her the error of her ways. But, unbeknownst to us, she also wields a big golden scythe of death ready to take our head off. Brilliant! The first ability to watch out for is her Scythe Smash. She'll get it stuck in the floor and it will give us a bunch of time to do some damage. The second is an AoE ability. Personally, I'd just stay away from this entirely. It's quite easy to dodge, just move on the other side of the map. The third ability is a charge. This is a really slow charge and can be easily dodged. The fourth ability is multiple projectiles. We've seen this on multiple bosses previously, just guide it on past you. Repeat all them steps for this fight and Queen Dreader will be beaten. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't take any damage because I did, and thankfully I had 30 potions on hand to use. Remember, you have the potions and bombs if you want to get a bit of health and get a bit of extra damage involved. But other than that, this one is a very straightforward fight. I'm going to let you guys blast on through and get Queen Dreader down, and I'll pop back up in a minute. We are now coming to the end of the fight. I hope you enjoyed it. We have finally got the Queen down. We have brought down her tyranny. But sadly, there's a phase 2. Dreader will turn into the Caterpillar Queen, and now she's a little bit more terrifying. You can tell she is not going to give up her kingdom without a fight, and just by the look of her, she can keep it, you know? I don't want it that badly. She can keep it. But don't you worry, this is our last fight. The first ability the Caterpillar does is rain hell down upon us. To dodge this, we need to keep running away until it's over. The next two abilities are quite similar. The first one is a Sonic Wave Yell type of attack. The other is her Breathing Fire. They are both channeled from her face, and Dreader can slowly spin around while she's casting these. As you can see from my footage, it's quite easy to dodge, but if you're close up, you can be caught with some damage. This fight is surprisingly easy. All you have to do is keep going around counterclockwise or clockwise. Remember, we have 4 special abilities to use now, and they all do a lot of damage, so make sure you use them on the Queen. A lot of the attacks are front facing, so get to the sides or the back, and this one's super duper easy. Now, I'm going to let you get on with the fight, and I'll pop up at the end. Repeat all of this, and just like that, the Queen is finally dead. And that is the last bit we need to progress in. We'll get the Downfall achievement, and we'll also get the final hat. And that is also our final boss. It is actually kind of sad killing the last one, but we do get a fancy crown at the end of it. After beating Queen Dreader, we'll see all of our friends free and cheering us on. Finn will ask us if we want to join the tea party, but before we do that, we need to clean up the last couple achievements. The first one we're going to do is equip our final hat, the crown, unlocking our final hat achievement. Now, speak to Finn and let's enter the tea party, getting our next achievement. Once inside, you can see all of our friends we met along the way. Make your way around them and over to the balcony and we can speak to Finn. After a little chat, he will beckon Alina the Crane back to us. After a little chat, he will beckon Alina to come over to us and take us back home. Speak to her and the credits will roll, getting us the achievement for completing the game. Once the credits are complete, continue the game and we can get the last couple of achievements. The first one we're going to get is we're going to go down to the caravan where we can buy potions. And we're going to buy 30 bombs. Easy peasy. In total, we're going to need 9,000 gold to get all 30 bombs. But by now, we should have tons of gold behind us. And just like that, bombs away is our next achievement. And we get 50 Gamerscore for it. Go on. And then we're going to backtrack to the Victorian house and we're going to fast travel to Enid the Witch's house. Now we're going to get up to level 20. As you can see, I was a little bit short, so I had to do a little bit of grinding. In total, I needed to grind 17,000 feathers. The best place to go is the Queen's Castle foyer. Clear the knights that roam the area, and then once they're all dead, step out and then step back into the area and they will reset. Do this a few times and you'll have enough to finally level up. That is if you even need to. I have no idea why I managed to be 17,000 short, but hey ho. But either way, once you've got them feathers, it's time to teleport back to Enid's house and get our final achievement. And just like that, there is our final achievement popped, and that is Ravenlok completed. Congratulations. And that is the end of my guide. My god, that was a little bit of a long one, wasn't it? If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. If I helped you out in any way, let me know down in the comment section, and please hit that like button. This one took me a while to edit, so please, please, please show me some love. If you want to see more of my content, then please hit that subscribe button. But I think we're done here. Until next time guys, I've been Morvi, and I'll see you later. Happy hunting.